Hey there, creators. Welcome back to another episode. Thank you for tuning in. Or if this is your first time listening, this is really making a good intro for you. Hello. Today, as the content strategist for travel creators building businesses, we need to talk about why building an audience is not the same as building a business. And there is some advice I'm going to share with you that in some ways I need you to take with 2 cents, because in some ways I agree with it, and in some ways I could see how it could be easily misconstrued. But let's get into it, and I will share my caveats with you as they come up. So I know often we hear the words, or have heard probably in your content creator journey, if you just focus on growing the audience, the deals will come, the money will follow, and everything else will work out. And I don't want to say that that's totally untrue, because for some people that is true. But I do want to say we need to stop pretending that's how this content creator business works, because it's not really how it totally works. So the lie we've all been told is that if you just focus on growing your audience, once you hit like X number of followers, the brands are going to start reaching out to you, and the money will come in. And on that, I'm going to call bullshit. Oops, I am, because I know creators who have 100,000 followers who were going on a trip to a specific location and were reaching out to brands telling them they were going on that trip to that destination, and there were crickets. There were no brands reaching out to them, even though they had this massive audience. They're skilled content creators, skilled YouTubers, and no brands wanted to partner with them. But I also know creators who have small audiences who make a lot of money, and they make a lot of money because this social media content creation is one part of their business. And so here we are, one of the first caveats I have for you. I'm not saying that content isn't important. It is important, but it is not the whole bit. It is not like the whole entire thing that makes or breaks your content creator journey. It's just one part of it. So the difference between those 2 creators I just was mentioning there is that one built an audience and the other built a business. So I want to help you get really clear, or a reminder on what an audience is versus what a business is, because I think we can believe, or it's so easy to believe so much, that the audience is the business, when in fact that's just not the case. So an audience are people who follow you. This also can include the vanity metrics, like the likes, the comments, the shares that you get, the engagement that you get, and any potential customers that might come your way. Whereas a business, your content creator business, has systems that generate revenue. It has processes that scale without you. So it is working while you're not working. That's kind of the goal of business, is to create something and then slowly back away so it can do what it needs to do without you. And it has actual paying customers. People are giving you money. So when you focus only on audience building, you end up with not a super clear view of the revenue that you want to have or make or create, because you're in this phase of like, oh my gosh, I'll figure out how to monetize later. I'm just going to like build this audience, build this thing, and I'll figure out how to monetize later. A little spoiler alert for you. The figuring it out later never really comes, never really happens. And you just keep creating content. And again, that's not a problem. You become really good at creating content, but maybe you're not great at all the other back-end things. Typically, what happens a lot is an audience expects everything for free from you. So when you've trained people to expect free content, then when you ask them to pay for content, it feels very jarring and very crazy. There is also burnout from constant content creation that can happen when you are working all of the time to just create more content. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, and you are feeding quite literally a machine that is, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But it's not really building anything sustainable. And you are also not building any of the business systems. So like I said, you're going to get really good at creating content, but maybe you're not going to be great at invoicing or client management or contracts. And you're also becoming dependent on followers. So your entire business is now starting to depend on follower counts when that was never really the goal. I don't think anyone starts a business and they're like, my goal for this business is to have 100,000 followers. If somebody said that to you, you would probably laugh at them, right? I mean, it's not really a great business goal or metric. I say that to remind you that you are creating a business. This is a business, and you should treat it like one. This is what it looks like to put your business first in this content creator journey. So you have a clear value proposition, meaning you know what you're going to sell, you know who you're going to sell it to, and you know how to talk to the people that you are selling. This also means you have systems for your revenue. So you have predictable ways to make money that aren't dependent solely on the follower counts of your content. This also means you have operations and processes. So you have contracts and invoicing, and maybe you have client onboarding and project management tools. You have all of this boring stuff that is required to run a business if you are treating your content like a business with that business first approach. This also means you do not treat social media like the only marketing you have. Instead, it is one pillar of your marketing and not the entire marketing. Something else I want to highlight for you is that you can have a large audience, large being whatever that means to you, who just want all the free travel inspo, but they're not going to buy your $2,000 consulting or coaching offer. And you might think, oh my gosh, if I just need volume of people, then the sales will come. Well, it's not really helpful to have an audience of like 10,000 people if they are the wrong 10,000 people. It's only helpful to have the right 10,000 people.
Hi, I'm Maddie Garrett, the host of Paid to Travel, the UGC podcast, where I teach all things user-generated content, aka how to make money through content creation without being an influencer. And here's your UGC tip of the day. Start viewing other content creators as your inspiration instead of your competition. The UGC industry is not too saturated, and the more we collaborate with one another, learn from each other, and lift each other up, the more success we'll see. There's so much opportunity out there, like literally billions of brands that need more content. And the more that you understand and believe that the right opportunities will come your way, the more often they will. If you want to learn more about UGC or listen to the Paid to Travel podcast, you can find more info in the show notes below. Back to you, Laura.
When you are just focusing on content creation rather than the business side of your content creation, you are not building a ton of trust because followers don't equal customers. So as soon as you start kind of pivoting that mindset and looking for the clients or customers within your audience, you can then help to nurture relationships and not just like accumulate more followers or numbers. I also want to take a minute to let you know that just posting like, here are my services, reach out to me for them, is not really a business strategy. Yeah, it's not really a business strategy. Just wanted to remind you of that. So if you are listening to this and you're like, oopsies, I think that I have been focusing too much on my content and not enough on the business side of things, this is where I would encourage you to start. I would like you to start with, what am I offering people? What am I selling them? Who needs it? How much should I sell it for? What exactly is it? How will they get it? All those things. And then I want you to build your systems. And I know it's not fun to build systems, but what's going to happen is you're going to have this idea of what you want to sell. You're going to sell it and people are going to buy it. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, so many people are buying this. I don't even know how to organize the people who are buying this, or like, how do I, grow this, whatever. And you are going to be scrambling / working backwards to create really good systems. So those systems include, how do clients find you? How do they hire you? How do they pay you? This all needs to be made seamless. So I would start with those questions and figure out like what feels the best to start with first. This takes a lot of brainstorming, a lot of iterating. That's okay. Then you can kind of go back to your content and think about creating some that serves your business. Meaning, you should think about how every post should either attract your ideal clients or nurture relationships with those already in your community. So now you have like a sort of different end goal in mind for this content creation. And then, of course, we need to focus on growing the email list, okay? You can collect email addresses forever and never send a newsletter, and that's okay, but it would make things so much easier if you just start by collecting email addresses. Then you want to focus on conversion and not just reach. So, like I said, 100 qualified people that are perfect for your services or offer is far more valuable than 10,000 followers who just don't even really know what you're about. So if you're going to start anywhere, I would start with auditing your current situation. How much of your time is going into audience building versus business building? And then you can get really clear on your goals and go through that to-do list I have for you. I want you to get out of this episode that you are building a business and your audience is an asset, and your business is what turns that asset into income. So once again, for the millionth time, your success is not measured by follower count, but we need to start measuring it by revenue, profit, and sustainable systems. So building a business that happens to have an audience, not an audience that might become a business. In the coming weeks, I will be sharing with you more behind the scenes as I build this community for travel creators based on these business systems so that you can stop acting like just a content creator and start acting like a content creator with a business, and actually go away on the beach and not think about if your business is running or not. And to be honest, this is going to be what I would anticipate a long process to put together this community of systems, because I want to make sure they're working really well, and I want to get really clear on what creators need before we just make something and it's not great. So stay tuned for what I'm creating for travel creators, because to be honest, there's nothing like it. And it is a place where we focus on business systems that work and not just audience growth tactics. So if you're interested in learning more about that community I'm building, you can send me a message on Instagram at Travel Content Writing. But until then, happy creating. Don't create so much. Go create a system or something. And I will see you next week. Cue the music, Marie.